Hello, reporting from the Drift. I'm Michelle Purdy. We're here with Everett Fontenot. So Everett, please tell us what happened. How did you hear about the storm and what happened afterwards?
Well, when the storm actually happened, I was here in New Orleans, and of course I wanted to go back to Denham, but there was no possible way to get to Denham. There were some back roads that were still open, but you didn't know what was overflooded, what wasn't, and what your car would be floating off in. So my parents called me whenever the rains really started happening and said there's some intense weather coming in, and people are starting to flood, but we think we'll be fine. And I said, okay. But after a couple hours, they started calling me more and keeping me posted, and they said water's now in the yard. So, oh my gosh, water's getting up to this tab. I was like, Jesus. So they started to take some of our stuff, put it up on paint cans, and get it out of the way of the water. And then the water did actually get into the house. And when that started, AT&T went down in Baton Rouge and Denham. And a lot of people have AT&T in Denham Springs. So I was completely unable to get in touch with my parents, which was quite frightening because a lot of people were getting helicoptered out of the area. So I had no way to know if my parents had to get evacuated or not. So I didn't know if my house was okay, if my parents were okay. I didn't know anything.
So they called you later saying they are okay?
Yeah, about 5 hours later, they finally called my phone and okay, we're still okay. Phones are just, cell phones are down. They called me on the landline. And they just explained the whole situation. Said, yeah, we do have about 7 inches of water in the kitchen. And I was like, oh my gosh. Luckily, our water didn't get up to the electrical outlets. And if it gets up to the electrical outlets, you have to change out a lot of electrical systems in your house, which unfortunately happened to my girlfriend. She got about 2.5 feet of water in her house, and some of my friends lost their houses completely.
And so y'all were able to put a lot of furniture up? And so
whenever the water started coming in, my dad told me that they hurried as much as possible and got paint cans, dressers, whatever they could, and started putting up the refrigerator, the freezer, couches, my old piano, just to get out of the water. Thankfully, the water stopped centimeters before it ruined. I have this old 1970s piano, and then if the water would have touched the wood, it would have been started to disintegrate. And I have a studio in the back of my parents' yard that's a little bit lower. The water got up to the waist deep in my studio, and the water also stopped inches before it ruined all of my musician gear. And if that got ruined, my entire livelihood would just be over, and I wouldn't be able to afford thousands of dollars worth of musician gear, in college especially.
So what happened when you first came back?
When I first came back, it was crazy because you could still see the water line on all the bushes. Everywhere that the water touched was brown. It was just mud everywhere. The water brought just dirt, empty cans, and just trash all over my parents' yard. The first time my mom saw me when I first got in, she just started crying and just couldn't hold it any further. But it was wild. So to see the childhood home that you grew up in, you were a child, and having to destroy the walls and tear out the floors and throw some of your stuff as a baby away, it's hard. It's definitely hard. And personally, I wasn't here for Katrina, but I now understand that
what
feeling.
They went through.
Yeah, exactly. Well, not exactly what they went through, since we only got 7.5 inches, but the feeling of a flood and devastation and loss, it's very overwhelming.
Mm-hmm. And this is the first time that's ever happened to you?
Yeah, that's the first time we really lost a lot. And things are getting better. We've started construction on my parents' house, but I'm going to be there every weekend for the next however long it takes. I was there yesterday, and my parents, every time they see me, they still just cry a little bit, just because they need so much help. That entire Denham Springs is still under a devastated situation. There's still plenty of construction to go down. There's still plenty of work that needs to be done over there.
Yeah. All right. Well, I wish you the best of luck with your family.
Well, thank you.
So thank you so much.